As a Floridian, anytime I leave my state, 90% of the conversations I have with squares around the country when I tell them I'm from Florida tend to go like this. Yeah, I'm from Florida. Wow, is it true that everyone is legally insane? What? And with everyone always assuming that I'm a gun-toting, Cuban, gator-eating, swamp-loving beach bum, I can say they're all right, aside from the gator-eating, because gator meat is definitely an acquired taste. As you can imagine though, it can get very frustrating when people are quick to categorize Florida into a whole or into just two separate regions like North and South, when in fact this is not the case. So today, I shall go over the distinct regions in the state of Florida, with each region having its own respective differences and similarities upon the other regions. So sit back, relax, grab your public subs, and let's get into this. To introduce the beautiful state of Florida, we'll start with North Florida. A common saying with Florida is the more north you go, the more south you get. This part of the state is largely comprised of Trump 2024 signs, rednecks, and rundown trailer parks. This is the part of the state where at least half the crazy news articles come out of. This region is a deep red region during political season, and you can say is, home to a lot of yeehaws. North Florida is also known to be geographically different from the rest of the state, with it resembling more of a southern look more than a tropical getaway. If you're not in a big city in this region like Pensacola or Tallahassee, you're most likely going to end up in a small white trailer park town.
You little piece of shit! Get the
Central Florida is either the Everglades or the city surrounding Lake Okeechobee. Most of the land in this area is remote and is largely used for farmland.
This region definitely has a southern influence, but it's really its own thing. The culture completely revolves around the farmland and lake, with Central Florida having a strong fishing presence as well. There are certainly many natural beauties in this area, but the cities just kind of fall flat. It's kind of like the Star Wars sequels, just boring and forgettable.
From nothing, you're nothing. You're nothing.
And Orlando is also included with Central Florida, but it's more recognized as the amusement park capital of the world, with our Disney corporate overlords, owning just over a little of a third of Orlando's total landmass. Just a crazy fun fact. And the thing is, as a Floridian, no one I meet from Florida is ever from Orlando. We all just seem to flock there for its attractions.
Every year as the season changes, the north begins to become a giant cooler. Because of this, thousands of Canadian geese flock south to escape the freezing temperatures, and so do the northerners. This region is largely filled with snowbirds. It's pretty common to see a northern license plate coming from Canada, Michigan, or New York.
Bing bong!
Granted, snowbirds are all over the state, it's just that in the West Coast, it just tends to stack up. The West Coast also has a low population and is way less urbanized compared to its eastern counterpart. This region is golf and condo galore. And I should also mention the fact that the West Coast is home to beautiful beaches and warm water from the Gulf of Mexico. Definitely a vacation spot.
It's Mr. 305, Mr. Worldwide, back at it again and let you know. I just came to remind y'all. Que ese culo bota caca.
As someone from this region, when I tell someone I'm from Fort Lauderdale, people tend to be confused. And then I'll tell them I'm from Miami, and they'll know exactly what I mean. The Gold Coast is the melting pot of Florida, with Cubans, Haitians, and other foreign cultures being extremely common in the region. As someone who grew up here, it is more than common to walk into a bank, grocery store, or mall and not hear a single sentence of English. This region is extremely diverse, and when I left the state, it was an honest culture shock seeing how less diverse the rest of the country is. This area, especially Miami, can come off as a completely different country, and over the past few years, counties like Broward and Miami-Dade have led to stars such as Bad Baby, Little Pump, Pitbull, and Kodak Black, just to name a few of the contributing artists to the fine arts of America. In a nutshell, this region is a very distinctive region, not only in the state, but in the country. I guess you can call it the spearhead of Florida culture.
I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
If you were to combine North Florida with the Gold Coast, ultimately you'll get the Northeast. Hillbilly beach bums make up a lot of the people living here, although it is home to a diverse population compared to the north. The region is similar to the Gold Coast, but it's really its own thing, with towns and beaches being a lot less touristy compared to its southern counterpart. I don't know why, but the water here tends to be brown compared to the rest of the state, but the people here are, pretty nice from my experience. And I should also mention that I don't know why the water's brown. I can't really answer that. I'm not a scientist.
Yes, science!
The Northeast is also known for its love of NASCAR. Car racing in Daytona has been taking place since the 1940s and is loved by many locals. You can definitely pick up on the NASCAR culture when you're in the Northeast area. The Keys are no doubt the crown jewel of Florida. The tropical islands rest in Monroe County with Everglades City, the only city really in the southwest region of Florida and really the only city that sits in the middle of the Everglades. The Florida Keys are very distinctive from the rest of the state, and at one point it was its own country known as the Conch Republic. I don't really know the history, I just know it had something to do with bread and resisting federal authority. The more south you go down US 1, the more Conch Republic flags you're gonna see. The tropical weather and wildlife, the chickens running down Duval Street, and just the way of island life, the Keys are the cherry on top. So, in conclusion, the state of Florida is pretty wacky, and it's on a spectrum, from hillbilly rednecks in the north to Kodak Black in the south. Florida is just a range, and truly unique. We might all have differences, but in the end, we are all Floridian. Okay, so subscribe to me, because I kind of need to validate my career choice right now, guys, so that'll just greatly help me. Thanks.